I'm Mark.
And I'm Carissa.
And we're
Set on Sainthood. We have been on an epic adventure to find answers to life's greatest questions.
And though the struggle is so real,
when you're on an adventure with Christ, it's all worth it.
Please join us in the universal call to be
Set on Sainthood.
We're headed into Rome to see all of the apostles there.
The first two, St. Philip and St. James the Less, can be found at the Basilica of the 12 Apostles in Rome. So we went there several times and actually had a bit of a hard time getting down into the crypt to see them, but finally Mark went up to this wonderful priest who was offering the sacrament of confession, and he willingly stepped out and took us down into the crypt below the altar so that we could venerate the relics of these two saints and apostles, which is so special.
It was really quite amazing. And our next stop brings us all the way across town, not actually that far, to St. Bartholomew, otherwise known as St. Nathaniel the Apostle.
We looked all over this church for his relics, and in the process we found a lot of other relics, including in this very extensive crypt. They had a really amazing display, including a lot of hints at St. Bartholomew, and so we kept looking and looking, but actually we found all these other saints like Blessed Stanley Rother. Later we'll see Oscar Romero, Maximilian Kolbe. I mean, we're seeing some really amazing second-class relics here, and then sometimes maybe some first-class relics as well. It's just, that was so cool to stumble across all these additional relics.
But it was difficult to find the person we came to see. Until you look right behind this rather large icon and see that it's the body of Saint Bartholomew, aka Nathaniel.
In this giant sarcophagus right under the altar, which is very common actually. So that's where you can find Saint Bartholomew.
Our next church is not just a church, it's St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. Wow. Here's us going through the holy doors. There was just so much to see. And similarly to St. Bartholomew, aka Nathaniel, there's just so much to see in St. Peter's. It can be a little hard sometimes to find the people you're looking for. We were very fortunate, however, to be able to spend a lot of time here. Hello. And to really get as much out of that time as we could.
We were even able to see some modern day successors to the Apostles of Rome who you see coming through here. And in the process of looking for some of the 12 apostles, we actually found a lot of other saints, including
St. John Paul II,
St. Gregory the Great, St. Pius X, and St. Josaphat.
But the reason why we were here starts with St. Peter, of course. This is one of the more inaccessible saints to go and spend time and make third-class relics with. But the glass was right there, so it still counts.
Even harder than St. Peter to find were these last two apostles. Now, we had been praying near the tabernacle a few times, but actually, our apostles are under the tabernacle. Did you see that right there? That's right, St. Simon the Zealot and St. Jude Thaddeus, who is the patron of hopeless causes. We were rather shocked that they were so hard to access because you're actually not supposed to go pray up that close to the tabernacle. So if you're at St. Peter's, make sure you stop by the altar under the tabernacle and venerate the relics of these two very, very hidden but very, very important apostles.
Enjoy your next adventure.